Welcome to another sololevelingarise video. So Hansemi is now officially out, and the win team is now complete. We have our breaker in Wujin Cho, we have our DPS in Amamiya Mirai, and now we have our dedicated support in Hansemi. So with that, let's go over what she does and then what's best set with this normal testings that we do. Hansemi's weapon, Coming of Age, increases her HP by 4%, as well as increase the damage taken of enemies hit by Hansemi by 5% for 4 seconds. The more you put an advancement into this, you increase the duration of her debuffs. So with that, let's go over her kit. Hansemi is a wind healer character who scales off HP. So her basic attack and her core attack doesn't do anything special. Her skill 1 deals wind damage as well as gives an HP recovery to our party. Her skill 2, Divine Field, recovers 250 MP to wind allies as well as produces a protection zone which recovers 17 MP every 3 seconds and a shield equal to 4% for max HP every 3 seconds. This is at level 4. The more you increase this, the higher your MP recovery is, so this is fine to go at level 7 for more MP recovery. Her support is the Protective Zone, which recovers 35% of Songjinwoo's mana, as well as gives a shield equals to 2% of Hansemi's HP every 3 seconds. Very good supportive support if you need more mana. And then her QTE removes the debuff zone similar to Libora. Her ultimate, Vines of Vitality, deals damage, as well as recovers 20% of Hansemi's HP, her entire team, as well as applies the Lifeline effect, which decreases damage taken by 20%, restores HP by 1% for every second for 15 seconds. Hansemi's A0 passive, when she uses the Sharp Sprout, Golden Meadow, or Vines of Vitality, it grants Breath buff to all team members, and this has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Breath increases the user's basic skill damage by 10%, and if you're a wind, it buffs it by an additional 5%. Duration 25 seconds, stacking up to 2 times. Means this maxes out at 30% for wind allies, which is perfect for Amamiya Mirai. For A0, Sharp Breath is granted to the team member when they use their ultimate. So what it does is that for every second, you get a 1% crit hit rate, crit damage buff, as well as charges your power gauge by 1%, stacking up to 10% for the crit stuff, and charges your power gauge by 20%, duration 20 seconds. For A2, increases her HP by 10%. For A3, when the user's HP reaches 1, they become immortal. And then after the immortal ends, they recover 30% of their max HP. So this is daily quest for hunters. For A4, increases the team member's wind damage by 10%. Very good. For A5, the user grants the natural unity effect to team members when tagging out. It increases the user's attack by 10%, increases the user's wind damage by 20%. Duration, 25 seconds. Sadly, this A5 does not work on team member fights such as POD or Guild Boss. So if you're a free-to-play player, the best position to stop at Hansemi is actually A0. A1 if you really want that crit buff, but 10% is not a lot. And A0 is going to be your best stopping point for her. Her A2 and A3 are not that good. Her A4 is solid, and her A5 is only good in hunter fights such as Battlefield of Trials and possibly Vulcan. So sadly, for paying players, you don't really get much from A1 to A5, but her A0 is amazing. So with that, let's get into the number. Hansemi's damage support test will take place against normal mode Vulcan, because I can be in the blue in the CP here without leveling up my artifacts. Just to keep everything very similar, the total power is going to be around 580,000. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on the set that I'll be using. So I'll be using Songjinwoo as a breaker because she is not wind and she breaks a little bit faster than Wujin Cho. So all we're gonna see for damage boost is just Hansemi. For Shadow, we're going to be using Blades. I'm not going to be summoning them. And then this is Amamiya's stats. 21,892 attack with 178% crit damage, 7.3% damage increase, and 5.69 defense span with a full curse set. So with that, let's do our control group where we can look at Amamiya's damage without Hansemi support. With the control damage recorded, now let's go on to Hansemi without any support sets. So we can see how much she gives. Starting off with the Noble Sacrifice set, which decreases the user's attack by 8% but increases their team members' attack by 8%. So this is going to be one of your most generic piece that you can run for support. That's very good to run. And paired up with Outstanding Connection, which at 4 piece increases the team members' attack by 28% for 15 seconds when tagging out. This is perfect paired up with her A5. So with that, let's look at the numbers. The next artifact we are testing out is Angel in White, which increases the user's healing by 8% as well as increases the damage of the team member with the highest total power by 8%. So unlike Noble Sacrifices, which buffs attack, this buffs damage increase, which means this will work well for any character in the future who does not scale off attack. We're going to be pairing this up with Outstanding Connection, and with that, let's see how much damage we're doing. Next set to test is a 4-piece Burning Blessing set, which when tagging out or using a support skill, it increases the user's damage dealt by 10% and recovers their HP by 0.2% for every 1 second, cooldown 25 seconds, duration 10 seconds. So it's 2% higher than Angel in White, but unlike Angel in White, this one has a duration limit. So with that, let's see how much it can do. With that testing, now the left hand side of artifact support sets are now complete. I didn't test out Destroyer because that only gives us power gain and we want to see how much damage we gain. And while Burning Blessing ended up doing some pretty good damage, I think Angel in White ended up being the most consistent one. And with Burning Blessing, that's better to pair up as an 8-piece set anyway. So with that, let's move on and change the right hand side. So starting off, we're going to use the Sylph's Blessing, which when the user uses the KTE support skill or ultimate skill, it increases the user and their team's elemental damage by 5%. Duration 30 seconds. And for 4-piece, the duration is now 60 seconds and it can stack up to 3 times. So I'm trying to see how we can get this. So We're gonna start by QTEing in her, and then after that, we're gonna try to get a second QTE in, and then hopefully our ultimate gauge is full by then, so we can get the full stacks. If not, we're gonna only end up testing 10%, which I guess it's okay. So with that, let's see.
지금이에요. 회복 시작. 내 힘을 믿고 가까이 와요. 까마귀의 시간. 밤의 날. 우레 까마귀. 봐주지 않아. 지금이에요. 도와줄게요. 내 힘을 믿고 가까이 와요. 까마귀의 시간. 뇌전 진상. 우레 까마귀.
The final artifact testings we're gonna do today is a full 8-piece set Burning Blessing. So while the 4-piece set Burning Blessing was a little rough trying to get the proper activation with Hansemi's 2 stacks of breath, at least maybe with the 8-piece now being the duration at 20-second, might be easier to figure out when to do that, because then you'll just have to count 5 seconds before you can use it again. So with that, this is what it does. So instead of 10%, it increases our damage by 20%. So with that, let's look at the damage.
조심해요. 그림자 스위치. 까마귀의 시간. 밤의 날. 우레 까마귀. 등장. 까마귀의 시간. 밤의 날. 흑야 낭만. 기회를 주세요. 조심해요. 까마귀의 시간. 뇌전 진상. 우레 까마귀.
So here's the final results of all of the damage with the testing. So with no support, Amamiya Mirai average damage was 4,696,242. With Hansemi, that skyrocketed to 9,169,951 with an increase of 4,473,706. Almost a 100% damage increase for just having Hansemi on the team. That's crazy. So Hansemi on the win team is at a 100% damage increase with no artifacts. So now, putting in an artifact on her, Noble plus Outstanding Connections, it went up by almost a million. So 9,913,956 and 956 with an increase of 111%. So Angel in White plus Outstanding Connections is 10,549,848 with a 124% increase. So 13% more than Noble. So pretty solid that the damage increase is doing more. Now we replace Outstanding Connection and replace it with Silp's Blessing. And that increased it by another 10% at 11,023,214, which is an increase of 6,326,972. So far, that's the highest number that we got in all of the testings, which makes sense. So going down to the Burning Blessings, 10% from Burning Blessing, plus 15% from Silp's Blessing if I did that testing, would probably give us a higher number, but trying to get that to work is gonna be crazy. So that's why I didn't test that. But Burning Blessing 4-piece with Outstanding Connection is 9,600,000 with a 105 increase, and putting an 8-piece set Burning Blessing boosted that up by 11%. So over 10 million average damage for Amamiya Mirai. That's crazy. So, and yeah, and that's that. if your main character for main DPS is Amamiya, you need to get at least one copy of Hansemi. Especially for Guild Quest, because she provides mana, and you're probably gonna need that a lot in Guild Quest. Sadly, her A5 doesn't work in Guild Quest, so they're probably gonna have to change that in the future. But is she worth it to A5? I'm gonna say no. But is she worth it for A0? And it's 100%. She might be the best support at A0. So with that, thank you for watching. My name is Yuya. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.